My topic was education and drug use in schools. My topic selection was based upon the theme of struggle found in the stimulus packet. Struggle is identified in the source The Migrant Mother by Dorothea Lange, as it depicts the intense struggles faced by families during the Great Depression. Furthermore, and in their own words by Gudihiel J. Raheel, it analyzes how Haitian people used the struggles they faced after an earthquake to advance their society. Likewise, in The Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Mandela, it discusses the struggles that inmates faced while in prison. Out of all the high schoolers in the United States, 86% of teens know someone who drinks, smokes, or abuses drugs during school. Known as substance abuse, the overindulgence in or dependence on an addictive substance especially drugs or alcohol, substance abuse has been prevalent since the mid-1900s. Modern day teenage life has become characterized by counterculture, which encourages youth to partake in dangerous activities. The issue of substance abuse among teens has only expanded as access to drugs and alcohol has increased with the development of technology and social media. However, the use of substances has detrimental effects on teens, such as a decline in physical health, a decline in mental health, and a decline in academic performance. In fact, as stated by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, drug use is associated with sexual risk behavior, experience of violence, and mental health and suicide risks. Furthermore, the substance use of teens in high school poses a substantial safety risk. In a study conducted by Richard Lowry regarding the correlation between violence in schools and substance use, the results showed that illegal drugs prompted violence at 10,904 schools to increase. By violence increasing, schools become less safe, putting staff and students in danger. Although many people view the issue of substance use in high schools to be unavoidable, it has been proven that there are effective solutions to limit it, such as drug testing, the use of education, and counseling. Thus, when evaluating ways to reduce substance use in high schools, the question arises: how can high schools in the United States be reformed to lower the rate of substance use on school property? Throughout my research, I evaluated the effectiveness of implementing a variety of programs. I assessed the usefulness of drug testing, counseling, and educational programs. Many high schools have used educational programs in efforts to lower substance use within the school. For example, the DARE program provides students with knowledge on the harmful effects drugs have on their bodies. A main constraint to this program is that it relies solely on an individual basis, meaning that some people may not take the message as seriously as others. This is expressed by Stephen West, who conducted a study on the impact DARE programs have on schools. He cites that to be considered even minimally effective, the effect size of his studies would have needed to be 20 times larger. The next solution I looked at was counseling. According to Brown University, school-based counselors could provide low-risk students with guidance and advice. Furthermore, counselors could find students with significant substance abuse problems the treatment that they need, and that would be beneficial in decreasing drug use. Brown University argues that this is more cost-effective and cohesive than drug testing. The solution that I propose that I believe will be the most effective is the implementation of voluntary drug testing, followed by counseling. My solution includes voluntary drug testing in schools, which would focus on testing students for drugs and providing them with counseling if they are to test positive. Students would be tested voluntarily once a week, and parents would be notified of the results. Drug testing has been proven effective, as in a journal article published by Michael Wildspitz, he found that implementing random drug tests at school brought great health benefits, as well as an overall decrease in drug use. When comparing high schools with and without drug tests, it was stated that middle schoolers and high schoolers were respectively 200% and 60% more likely to engage in dangerous and illegal behavior at schools that don't have drug testing. Consequently, the implementation of drug testing has been proven to increase students' academic performance. For example, in a study conducted by Joseph R. McKinney, it was found that random drug testing at school increased participation in extracurricular activities, improved standardized test scores, and increased graduation rates. Moreover, in Kyle Barrington's study, he notes that school bonding and connectedness is increased with drug testing. He writes that students are more willing to inform teachers of drug use on campus when drug testing is present. Keeping drugs on campus is essential to student safety, as there is a direct connection between violence at schools and substance use in schools. This is because when students have access to illegal drugs at schools, coordinated violence increases. Likewise, when discussing the results of a study he conducted on VRSDT, Kyle Barrington states voluntary randomized student drug testing helped the school administrators identify students needing more intensive substance abuse services. This greatly improved students' overall health, as students found to be using drugs were provided with the treatment and resources necessary to get them to quit. Likewise, when people quit using drugs, they experience a multitude of positive health effects, such as a reduced risk of heart attack or cancer, higher energy levels, and improved focus. My solution on voluntary drug testing, followed by counseling, has many positive implications, including increasing school safety, improving academic performance, and improving teens' physical health. To begin, when students undergo voluntary drug testing, overall drug use decreases. In a study developed by Goldberg, 2 high schools were compared, one with random drug testing and one without. Results showed a dramatic difference in drug use levels between the 2 high schools. The school with the random drug testing policy had much lower rates of drug use. Self-report from athletes at the school with drug testing found lower 30-day illicit drug use and athletic enhancing drug use than those from the control high school. Since teens' use of drugs goes down with testing, school safety is improved along with it. Some limitations of my solution include the high costs. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, drug testing costs an average of $42 per student tested, which amounts to $21,000 for only 500 students. Another limitation of my solution includes the potential lack of interest present with voluntary drug testing. This stems from the viewpoint many Americans have that drug testing is a breach of their privacy. To prevent this from happening, I would contact students and parents describing the benefits to drug testing and explaining how drug testing is a key to their success in high school. This would allow parents to influence their kids to participate should they have any concerns or suspicions of drug use. Lastly, a possible issue with my solution could be the possible distrust you create between students and school officials. To ensure this wouldn't happen, I would implement privacy policies regarding the drug testing to ensure that the results are kept discretionary. Substance abuse amongst teens continues to be a major issue within the United States. According to my findings, some of the limitations that drug testing has are its high cost and the possible distrust it would create between students and school officials. Hence, my solution, voluntary drug testing followed by counseling, would be the most effective and reliable choice. This would promote higher school safety, improve students' health, and increase academic performance. Not implementing voluntary drug testing followed by counseling will result in safety risks at schools, poor student health, and low academic performance. And then here's my works cited page.
Okay. Anyway, how did some preliminary information you gathered inform your research?
So when I first started gathering information, I wanted to figure out why this issue was such a big issue, because I didn't directly see the correlation between students' academics performance and the drug use. So I started looking at websites online, and like the statistic I had in my presentation, 86% of teens in high school know someone who drinks, smokes, or abuses drugs during school. And that is a great amount of students, and in other websites that I was researching, it was stating that up to 90% of students have tried alcohol by their senior year of high school. So this poses a big issue because it, as I stated in my presentation, it affects their health, it affects their academic performance, and it affects school safety. So after reviewing all the information on how prevalent teenage drug use is, and this is especially because of counterculture, which developed in the mid-1900s, which encouraged kids to partake in dangerous activities. So kind of since the 1900s, this has continued to be a trend, and this just makes it such a big issue.
And what are the implications of your findings to your community?
So my findings that drug testing helps support the community. First of all, it increases academic performance in schools. When students are prevented from participating in drug use, they're much more likely to increase academic performance, and this also includes standardized test scores. So that obviously benefits the community, it benefits the state as their rates of graduation and everything are higher. Also, obviously, it improves the health of the students and the community, because when there's a lot of drug use prevalent at one high school, it spreads to the others, and this just becomes a community issue because it travels to the middle schoolers. So really having drug use limited through the use of drug testing prevents that, as well as school safety. Having drugs on campus is obviously a big issue, not only just for students' health, but just having them on there in general. You don't know who they could be getting the drugs to, what they could be doing with them, so it causes a big safety issue. So by having drug testing implemented, it would greatly affect the community positively by limiting all those factors.
Okay, thank you.